Google Flow just released a new tool that creating consistent characters a whole lot easier. So let's jump in and see how actually this works. The latest version of Flow comes with several new features, but today we are focusing on two main things: the new character tool and the voice profiles. To get started, head over to the left side on the screen and click on characters. And once you're there, you will see three different ways to create characters. You can start from a template, you can create one using a prompt, or you can upload or import your own character. The easiest option is probably starting with a template. Flow already gives few pre-made character styles that you can use as a foundation. For this example, I'm going to choose the fantastical template. When you click on this template, you will notice that Flow automatically fills in the prompt for you. Basically, it's giving you a detailed character description right away, which saves you a lot of time and helps you create more consistent result from the start. That's really the main purpose of this template. It will give you a strong starting point, so you don't have to start everything from scratch, and then starting from there, you can customize your characters however you like and make it fit to your project perfectly. Now when you click on one of these templates, here's what actually happens behind the scenes. Flow will send this text over to Google Gemini, which is basically the AI power engine behind this new feature, and Google Gemini will take few seconds to think, and it will generate a detailed text prompt using the character that you have selected. You can then use that prompt to create images with Nano Banana Pro or Nano Banana 2. Now if you read through the prompt and you're not happy with it, don't worry, you can simply go back, click the same template again, and Flow will generate a complete new prompt for you. The interesting part is, even though the wording changes every time, the character stays pretty much same and consistent. So you are getting the different versions of the same character rather than a totally different new character. That being said, there's one limitation right now. There are a lot of templates available yet, and you can't directly customize the template preset itself as well. If you really want to tweak things and customize things, then you have to go through the text prompt manually and you have to manually edit it. In other words, it will still require some kind of creative work and you have to do that by yourself. It's not a huge problem, but it is something that you have to keep in your mind if you are hoping for a fully customizable template. If you want to build a custom character completely from scratch, you basically do it the traditional way, just like you would when generating any image with Nano Banana. So you go into the prompt section, and here I am using Nano Banana 2, but honestly you can also use Nano Banana Pro if you want. It doesn't really matter. It just depends on what level of output you are going for. Now you type in your prompt, and this is where you define your character exactly the way you want it. Once you feel like your prompt looks good and you are happy with it, the next step is simple. You just run the generation. As soon as you click run, it takes you to this next screen where the system starts processing your request and brings your character to life. And this is where you move on to the next step, adding some voice and some metadata. But before that, there's actually something important you can do. You can fine tune your character. So if you're not fully happy with the image that you have generated, you don't have to stick with it. You can go back to the prompt and tweak things. You also notice an option that says, what do you want to change, which lets you guide the edits more directly. At the top, there's also a show history option. When you click that, you can see your first generation, and as you keep editing, running new prompts, you will start building a whole history of different versions. So basically it works like this. You generate your initial image using the text prompt, and then you refine it, fine-tune it until you are happy with the result, and then you lock in. And now here's the key part. When you get that solid reference, you can actually build on it. At the bottom of the screen, right next to your main reference image, there's a plus icon that lets you add another reference. When you click it, Flow takes you to the next screen and gives you a ready-made template for creating different angles of your character. The nice part is you don't have to overthink or write long prompt. It just asks you to describe body and outfit. And so you simply fill in the details. And here also I'm using Nano Banana 2. But you can also use Nano Banana Pro. It really depends on what you prefer. And once you are done, you just run the generation again and move forward. And once you run the generation, it uses your main image as a reference, and behind the scenes, using the main image, it will create different angles of the main image. When the results come back, what you basically get is the same character just shown in multiple perspectives. So you might see the front view, side view, or slightly different processes, but still the same person. person. Now if you don't like what you get, it's not a problem either. You can simply hover over the generated result, go up to the top options and delete or dispose it. Once you remove it, you are free to start it again. Then you just run it again and it will generate new set of images using the reference image. Now one thing that people actually wonder is, can you add more and more reference images? The answer is no. You are limited to just two main references in this workflow. The first one is the initial image you create at the very beginning. That's your base character. And the second reference is what you get later on, which is different views of that same subject generated by the system. That's pretty much it. So the whole system is designed to be very simple and be controlled. First you create your initial main character and then you can add different angles of the main character and you can only use those two as your reference images. After that, you can't keep adding more images as new references. Alright, so this is the first part of the process, creating your visual references. Now the next step happens on the left side where you can actually choose a voice for your character. When you click on select a voice, a new panel opens up and this is where things get interesting. You see a bunch of different voice templates available. There are pre-made voices that you can assign directly to your character. On the right side, you can click on play and actually preview how each voice sounds. So you are not guessing, you can literally hear it before you decide. Now let's say you find a voice you like. If you want to assign it to a character, it's really simple. At the bottom you just click add to character and that voice gets linked instantly. But there's also another option at the top of the menu that says create new voice. If you click that, it opens a new window where you can explore more voice options. Again, you can start by selecting from the available templates and you can hit play to audition each one. For example, you might scroll through a few options, listen to how they sound and then pick the one that fits your character best. Once you're happy, just select it and move forward. And one thing to know here, just to clear up any confusion, you can't upload your own audio and try to clone it. You are limited to the voice templates in the system and everything stays in the system. You pick, preview and assign. That's it. Now the interesting part about create new voice is that it's actually a bit more flexible than it first looked. Because here you are not just picking a preset, you are actually shaping the voice a little bit. So first you give it a name. In my case, I'll just call it Pramodya. Why not? For an example. Then you can describe how you want the voice to sound. This is where you guide the style. For example, I might say something like happy, low-pitched, fast-paced voice. After that, you need to add sample dialogue, and this part is really important because this is what the system uses to test the shape and the voice. So I'll just paste it in a like something like this. And once everything is ready, now you can save your voice and now it will save up here and you can play it from here. Now in some cases you might find that it doesn't actually match the description that you have given. Maybe it picks the fast-paced one but not the happy one, or there will be some confusion, but no worries, you can just go back and edit the text prompt, edit the description and do it again. Once you're happy with it, now you can assign it to a character. One important thing that you have to remember is after you create your voice, after you save your voice, you can't go back and edit it again. All you have to do is delete it and then start from again. And honestly, I think that is something that Google can improve in the future update. Anyway, after that, on the left side, you will see the voice get assigned to your character. You can play it, listen to how it sounds, and even remove it if you want to switch to a different one. You are not stuck. You can always swap voices around as needed. Now at this stage, you can also rename your character, and I actually recommend doing that because it helps keep everything organized. So in my case, I'm just going to name the character Pramodya to match the voice and keep everything consistent. And then at the bottom, you will see something called optional character info. Now this is actually a really important section, so you don't want to ignore it because this is where you define the baseline personality of your character, their behavior, their quirks, overall mannerism. You describe everything here. And the key thing here is that information directly feed into the Flow Agent tool. So the system actually use and read this profile data and use it in the future references. So I'm just going to add a simple description. And this is basically how I imagine Pramodya's personality. And once that's done, now you have everything set up. You go to your images, your voice and your character description all in one place. Now when you're ready, you just go to the top and click done. After that, your character gets saved and shows up in your main dashboard. If you have multiple characters, You will also see it listed under the character section. And here's nice little extra. When you hover over generated character, you can get few quick actions. You can favorite it. If you click add to prompt, it will instantly insert that character into a prompt box, so you can reuse it without typing everything again. You can delete it, copy it, cut it, and you can do those things. So yeah, everything becomes much faster and streamlined when you set up your character properly. For instance, I am on a new project and I want to use the promote the character. But if I go to characters, I don't have promote there. And now I am in a new project. And it's because you need to select the project where promote there lives. I'm going to go this one. And this is the project that Pramodya has, and there we go, we have the character, and if I click on it, I can use it on this project. Alright, now let's put everything into the test. The whole idea here is just drop your character into the text prompt and the system will handle everything for you. So first I'm going to create a couple of images. I go back into the prompt and I type something simple like a full body shot of Pramodya reading a book in an office setting. Now this is where the setup really starts to matter. I go over here and select my name and delete it and hit add, and now I can go to select my character from the character list, and the character is now attached to the prompt. There's nothing complicated here, no extra descriptions, no repeating voice or personality again. Everything is already inside the character profile. So once everything looks good, I just hit run on the prompt, and now the system will generate the image using the character, the reference, and all the settings we already defined earlier. And this is the result. Pretty much great. Alright, now let's take a step further and test this with the video. Now I go into the prompt. So this time I'm going to switch over to video ingredients. I'll set the format to 16:9 and I'm going to use new OmniFlash model 8 seconds clips. And now I go into prompt and paste in what I want. So I'm basically describing a medium close shot of Pramod there sitting at office desk writing and thinking. Then at one point she looks at the camera and says, "Life has been so busy lately." So I just put that part because I just want to test the voice. Once everything is in place, I just hit run and let it generate. And now we wait and see what comes back.
Life has been so busy lately.
So yeah, this is same idea as images with just motions, same characters, same consistency, just brought to life in the video format. Alright, that's it. If you want to learn more about Google Flow and if you want some kind of a step-by-step beginner's guide, you can check the video in this corner or this corner. And also, I hope this video helps you, and if you want to learn more about these kind of cool new videos, please consider subscribing. Let's meet with another video. Have a great week.